Good evening, everybody. Welcome aboard. This is your host, Captain Gyro, and I'm joined by my first mate, Fangs of Fire here, and my bosom buddy, Pizza Wizard. How you guys doing?
Well, it's always a we're doing good. As it's always a pleasure when Team Captain Pizza Fangs gets together.
Happy to be here today.
Heck yeah, this should be a fun one. DonOJack, and 5 hit I missed. Quickly becoming household names in this New Blood
Okay.
tournament. Local rumors in Vienna. Interesting. No, wait, not interesting. What's the other one?
I was thinking about that. I was like, whoa. No Prague start, I guess.
Now, if he'd been
Okay,
revealed,
so
that would have been interesting.
yeah, that would have been very just weird. Mind you, another unusual thing is the fact that Van Helsing is in Manchester, not London.
Yeah, really making sure to discourage that England start, right? With him in
Mhm.
Manchester, it's kind of kaput.
Yes, I mean, I for one just prefer London. He's close to the sea, and well, I, I, I guess,
I don't find it to
it,
be really that deterring. Like, if I was Dracula and I really wanted to start in England, I could still do it. Just start in
yeah,
True.
43.
yeah, it's really just the
Yeah.
same thing. It, it has all the same things as, it has all the same. What's the word I'm looking for? Like qualities or
It's the
assets
same
of,
distance from a bunch
yeah,
of cities. It means
assets.
mainly you're starting at Plymouth versus Edinburgh if you're gonna do it. So 43 instead of 19.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah. Basically, the only difference is, of course, Manchester is the one thing in the entirety of England that isn't a port, and that's what
it's
makes
true.
London slightly better.
Yeah, I think
Uh,
we'll find out that if Dracula started anywhere but England, it is going to be an extra move to get him off of England because he has to move to a port and then go to sea. Just trying to think of why maybe DonOJack would have wanted to start him there.
well, having played with DonOJack and actually done a bit of training with him last week, during the last round when he had to hunt, uh, like before his game where he had to hunt. I know that he does that to consider. He told me that he does that to consider going up to Edinburgh to leave via North Sea.
Like,
That's his reasoning, at least. I do
I
know
suppose
that much.
land in Amsterdam or Hamburg.
Yeah, like if he
Yeah.
starts in the Far East.
Mhm.
But well,
Hmm.
Psst.
It is an argument you can make. I do really like going from
oh,
33 just because you can go straight to Marseille.
interesting.
And we have an early John Harker. That'll make figuring out Dracula just that much easier.
Yeah,
That guy
it makes
really
it makes
hates Count Dracula.
Well, he
yeah.
was
Well,
stuck in his castle for a while. He held him hostage. Got to get back at him somehow.
at the very least, it'll make sure that no play of Dracula's goes unnoticed. Uh, at least eventually. but
Yes.
but in the here and now, that's not. He is nowhere near it,
Mhm.
and that's
Well,
why Jonathan Harper is considered the
Buddy,
weakest of the three
come here.
allies. Generally,
yeah, if there's
speaking,
ever a time to get him, though, I think this is it, right? I think
yeah,
first week is
around
when
around
you'd
now,
really want
yeah.
him, if at all, right? Although I think I agree, but think it's generally agreed upon the other two are better.
Yeah, he can really come in clutch though. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I think
You can,
we've
yes.
all had that game once in a while where you don't have any other clues, and then Jonathan Harker ends up saving your bacon
Yeah.
Yeah,
as you take down encounter after encounter.
yeah.
Definitely.
I definitely have been there. In fact, I when I I believe it was my one of my hunter games in the fall league. In fact, was one such game where Harker just showed me one thing after another, giving me all sorts of useful information. I it's it he can be good, but but the other allies are just generally preferred.
Right.
Let's say you know he's in 51 and he was in Mars 36 2 days later. You have Jonathan Harkrow. You have 1 day to get rid of the trail. You'll know which space he moved to get from 51. It's really helpful in clearing out the trail in general, right? It makes a lot less guesswork.
Yeah, especially if Drac elects to go like I like to go for a central start and try to get lost in the just absolute maze of connections. It's definitely he's definitely
He
very
shines
effective
there.
there. Yeah, when Dracula's in that area, it really does come to shine there. It's so, but so far as the matchup for players, I mean, DonOJack, DonOJack has so far scored slightly better than 5 hit, although it is close. I mean, 5 hit is definitely a good deal better than he was when he first joined the community. Likewise for DonOJack. Oh, interesting
Tournament makes you get better. For
yeah.
sure.
Especially in an enterprise such as this New Blood tournament that Scottsword launched.
It's definitely stake discard is interesting, although it's on Van Helsing, so maybe or not Van Helsing, I'm Godalming, so maybe Godalming already had a stake or something, or better items,
or for that matter, 2 stakes. Not at all that surprising if it were.
Mina's got excellent weather. That's nice.
Yeah, it'll definitely be nice for Van Helsing come the time.
Maybe make up for that time disadvantage, right? If he's able to move to a port and then excellent weather off of it.
Yeah.
Or save it for later.
Yeah, like for instance, if Drac ends up being in the east, there's always the just using that to fare the Adriatic in one move.
Venice to Bologna is certainly
or Bari,
well
depending on it. Either that or Bari, depending on the situation. And I actually have seen once or twice Bari to Venice. Strange as that may sound.
You get kind of stuck in Italy, like dealing with the trail, and then like maybe you want to get out of Italy as soon as possible. Maybe I could see it, and you think he's gone north towards Germania. You know, maybe that helps you catch up.
I was more talking about by a Drac.
Oh, by a Dracula.
Yeah. I actually have seen a Drac do that this tournament. I don't recall which. The game sadly wasn't recorded. Oh, district research. 3 Dracula events. Nice.
You know what I haven't seen Dracula do in a while is start in Italy.
A shame. I like a good Italy start.
Not much this tournament.
I think, to be honest, there's an interesting reason. The interesting reason for that, I think, is the fact that the last time someone did was Snuffleupagus when Strider pounced on him and took him out week 1.
Brutal.
Yeah, actually brutal, and I think it may yet have spooked folks into thinking that that's just not a good idea.
Another thing you can do is you don't have to start in Bari and work your way up. You can start.
Oh yeah, I tend to start with
outside
Rome.
of Italy and work your way down into
it.
Yeah, if I do start in Italy, I tend to start with like Florence and Rome. Florence especially because it's not a port and therefore it's not. And it's a small It's a small town that's very rarely visited by the hunters. If they're traveling down to Italy, it is almost always jumped over unless they know it's on the trail.
If you can like put a rumor token in Florence or Rome or something like that, and then move to Bari, go to the Adriatic, and wolf form to 50, you've actually got a pretty good split going there in terms of like the distance between you and your rumor token. You see what I'm saying? They're kind of like split between going for that rumor in Italy or going for you in the east.
For sure. I think it's a question of can they, like, I don't know, can they get John Seward over there fast enough to deal with it? And if they can't, you're right. I think trying to split and have one of them go after Dracula by themselves while the other one deals with the rumor token isn't very good for them. Because Dracula can normally handle one person, especially early on when they can escape so quickly.
Yeah, and then you can just flap around all like crazy. And what's more, if they were to pounce you at Sophia, and try and attempt to kill you there,
Fat butt. He's a big fat butt.
if they got,
Yeah.
then
He's a big fat
you
butt.
could get your wolf form back in theory.
Fat cat.
And you're splitting up Mina from another hunter, so the scans won't be happening because presumably if one of them goes after you, whichever one it is, Mina won't be with the other hunter if she's the one going after you or the one going after the
I
rumor
mean,
token.
yeah, it may
Anytime you can
depend.
force Mina to separate, yeah, that's a good move.
I mean, okay. Well,
Wee.
what was I gonna say? How
You
often
big
that
fat
happens?
cat.
Yes, that was newspaper day. That has just
no
gone
hits.
past.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hits.
No newspaper.
Welcome to the stream, Strider.
At least no immediate newspaper function.
Could get it tomorrow, maybe, especially if they've hidden on the rumor token. It always feels bad when you hit it off the hide card. Or if bad for Dracula, I mean, when they find it because it was hidden on and they reveal it the day after.
Yeah. It's
Yeah. I wonder where he is.
well, Ireland is now
Look
out
at
of the
all
picture.
these discarded Dracula cards.
Yeah, Nocturnal Visits, Brides, and False Tip, as well as 5 other unknown ones.
And it's interesting because, like, you don't see, for example, you don't see like Darkness Returns or Unearthly Swiftness in the discard pile there. But if you did, would that be a good thing or a bad thing?
Well,
You know?
here's the interesting thing. If I were to get a hoax, I would actually be tempted to just take Dracula's Brides and do the ally function because so long as they don't have a good luck.
Yeah, that's a pretty good boost
That
to Dracula.
being able to cycle your stuff like that can be very, very useful. Without needing layers and all, especially this early. But the fact that he put down Rumor Token seems to say it's a vampire, so all that musing just goes out the window. But at least most likely.
I do always wonder whenever I play Mystic Research early and there's a bunch of trail, I'm always worried about a hoax going off and ruining all that work before I actually get my night supplies out of it. With Rumor Token, like you said, less likely there's a hoax there, but something I would still be thinking about.
Yeah.
If I was a hunter player.
That's always something you want to keep in the back of your mind.
Yeah.
You don't want to Mystic Research only to, the very next turn a hoax goes off. It's like, oh, well, that was a waste of time.
Yeah. And keep in mind that Harker is in play, so even if they don't have the newspaper for this coming dawn, they will know where it is, and we'll have one day to deal with it.
Yeah, the question will be, can they get there in one day? And I feel like the answer, unless there's a renewed vigor, is probably going to be no. Unless they started very close to hunters, which is possible.
Well, keep in mind that even in some of the most obscure areas, such as, even in some of the more obscure areas, like, for instance, the majority of he can get to the majority of spots in Baltica. Only exceptions to that would be Salonika and Athens without renewed vigor.
And
there is northern Germany.
Constanta or Varna, Varna as well, because it's one extra rail space. But
yeah.
Or Amsterdam, maybe.
Yeah,
so I guess not with the sense of emergency if it's on John Stewart.
Yeah, with potentially every single sense of emergency and his target carriage on them, there are very few places that they can't get to in one day.
Just they'll
with
have
this.
so little time to prepare, though, right? Like, let's say they do have a sense of emergency, they won't have time to give it to John. Like, let's say it was not, and it's revealed as not on day 6, and they have a sense of emergency, but it's not on Seward. They will have no chance to give it to him before, unless they place speed telegraph, obviously. But then they're wasting day actions. So.
Yes and no. One would argue that if they do have a speed telegraph, since keep in mind that the thing will get revealed before they would be prompted to play it.
Well, yeah, and they would use the speed telegraph. Yeah, 100%.
Because 7 points is definitely 6-7 points is definitely worth using that sort of thing on.
Yeah, speedy telegraph, no question about it. If that can save you a rumored vampire, take it. That would be kind of crazy though to see a speedy telegraph in order to trade like a sense of emergency to the right person,
Yep,
just to
let's
stop
see.
the mature.
We got dumb prompt.
That would be wild.
Maybe newspaper.
Yep. Yeah, but before the Harker day comes. Not a newspaper.
Okay. I don't know do you feel good about that as Dracula? Because it means they have some other day event. I guess it's not necessarily renewed vigor. It could be like a telegraph, a long night.
Yes, it could be a simple long night, which, for those who don't know, long night is, at least in my mind, just the worst event in the game.
I don't think I've ever actually used that card. Don't think I've ever played it, not one time.
At least, I mean, I've played it simply to get it out of my hand for hand space.
Okay.
But
maybe
I don't think I've
never used the ability.
I've ever gained any value out of its ability.
Yeah, that card just sucks. I
heard an interesting comment from Quincy Morris one time that like that mechanic, the effect Long Night gives you, should just be a game mechanic. Which I thought was kind of interesting. Like if you really want to move the hunter one road at night, you can do it.
Scouts.
And risk a card.
Well, this is when you want to draw them, right? I mean, I suppose you have lots of trail that you could hit here.
Yeah, Sophia and Nuremberg. Okay. Well, Sophia, that was definitely an excellent check. Nuremberg, I might have done more towards central France, as that would have been a harder area to get to.
My mind is blanking. Where is Nuremberg?
41, just above Munich.
Yeah. I kind of like Nuremberg, all because it's like it's really well connected if you're going from north to south.
Yes, but also it's very close to them. I think he would have been better placing that second scout more like somewhere like Geneva.
It is close to them, yes, but it's notably not adjacent to them. So I think a Dracula would feel relatively safe moving there, knowing that he wouldn't get picked up by proximity events.
Yeah, there are definitely arguments both ways, but I personally would have done both. Either this is the stage where I would have put both in the same region.
If it's in Italy, like Strider's saying, maybe it would have been good to because you could probably check one spot in Italy and have decent surety that it's not Italy, right? If you checked, I don't know, Rome.
If you checked Florence, that would be a guarantee that it's at least not the tip of Italy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and if this vampire does mature, Jonathan Harker is not going to be useful again for a long time.
Probably really not.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, for a few days, yeah, at least, yeah. And he can still be useful.
Right. This is where you hope that as Dracula, they did go far away, right? On the assumption that they wouldn't find him, because they might have just placed this close to the hunters thinking that it was going to get found no matter what, right? Like, it could be somewhere they could easily get to.
Yeah.
Let's see what Dracula did. Because we'll see soon.
With Sophia having been checked, we haven't been seeing all that much psychic scanning, have we?
I don't think so. A lot of ticketing.
Oh, we're about to see, but so it actually could still be Athens if he went around through Sarajevo and Belgrade, and is now up in Bucharest and that area.
True. Sofia is a common check spot. Sofia and Bucharest commonly checked, so I would not be surprised if maybe they wanted to avoid Sofia for that reason.
Yeah. I'm not sure if 5-hit is experienced enough yet to really be able to take that into account.
Ooh.
Okay.
Was it Italy?
Not.
No, it was not. Okay. Well, let's hold on, guys. Speed telegraph. Trade the. Let's see the. Let's see it.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Renewed vigor would make short work of it, as long as there's
Remove
not.
vigor.
I
Get
mean,
him
we
there.
know
Assuming that
there's no hide card.
Yes, but
he needs a horse or something, right? So he can move twice.
Yeah, he would have to have something to
long
combo
nights.
with the renewed vigor.
Okay, that won't help you at all, I'm afraid.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna bait him into ambushing him with whatever the vampire is, then he'll kill it at night.
Oh, dude, that's big brain.
Well, now we know.
It's actually kind of tempting as Dracula. If they move on to you at night, a night fight's so hard for them. Do you take the fight just for the value on the assumption that they're not gonna be able to kill it anyway? Probably you don't, because it's points, but maybe if it was a new vampire.
If it were a new vamp, I would say so. A reckless, no, as they could simply dunk a heavenly host on it.
Yeah,
And this
or
early,
a
and this,
heroic or something. Yeah.
yeah.
We saw earlier today, heroic leap can use bees to effectively kill a vampire. Can be good.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
I agree with that,
literally what it's made for.
Yeah, we're checking 47, making sure that if he went into Spain, he did the long way via 54 and 48 rather than taking the quick highway through 47.
Yeah, I definitely agree that was a good move. Okay, and I agree with moving to Germany to
scan
there. Just how far away from there has he gone? In other words.
Yeah, you can use this to sort of ascertain sense of direction, right?
Yeah.
With the check at 47 combined with if Germany is
clear. Especially with keep in mind that everything except the last two currently showing are going to get wiped. So therefore, ascertaining direction will be a bit difficult until Harker shows us again.
Okay.
Something or another.
I wonder if it was consecrated ground.
Yeah. Wait, he has Mystic Research, right? He's been using those supplies. Maybe that's why he's played the Long Night in conjunction with Mystic Research, so he knows he's not giving Dracula anything.
I think you're right. He may have comboed it.
Yeah, it's actually. Yes, I mean, it's still dangerous. Like, you could still discard Renewed Vigors, CGs, or CG. There's no singular.
Yeah.
I don't think he's night supplied, right? So that was his first time using it. I mean,
Dracula is in Germany.
There we go.
Well done. Nicely executed there, Jack.
And that leap to 8 actually is going to speed John Stewart getting up there significantly, right? Because he can now rail all the way to 16 tomorrow.
Yeah, which likely if he went directly to Germany, it's not all that unlikely that that's the first space, the last space getting wiped. I mean, it's possible.
Yeah, it's possible for sure. It depends on if he went straight there or if he meandered a bit.
I would guess that he meandered a bit because he.
That's what Draculas do.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was a really good psychic scan, and also a great example of like.
Yeah.
That's where skilled players can show their skill.
I really think maybe this guy's making me a Long Night believer, honestly, because that was actually a use of Long Night that maybe I could get behind. Like, sure, you lost the event, but that's a lot of. It saves John Stewart a lot of time.
Yeah.
I could at least see an argument being made there.
He also didn't have to use, like, let's say he had gone from 34 to 8.
Okay, we get one hint.
Would have had to get a new ticket at night.
So it would appear.
That's a good interaction. It was an aristocratic.
Okay, so it would appear that Cologne was that I think that the trail will begin again at either at Cologne in the event he ducked into Amsterdam for a moment, or at Frankfurt or Leipzig.
I really love Amsterdam. I don't know if you'd necessarily go there unless you wanted to like set up a secondary vampire, maybe. Like you move into Amsterdam, hide there, because you know it's not going to get wiped off the trail. If like
So
maybe you went like Havre, Paris. Let's see. This could be big. Hmm?
oh
Whoa!
Ooh, it's a little earlier than you wanted, I think.
yeah, that seems to say that he did dance around a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, wolves.
Okay,
Okay,
wolves. That's fun, kind of
that
okay, assuming good only
that's
has one weapon.
oh, I actually semi-agree with that in the sense that
Interesting.
I mean, not only you either take damage or you show information right now. That's well, oh well.
Oh, not
Oh
quite, not
my
quite. He's one
goodness!
rail away. He's close.
Oh
Not
shucks.
quite. Yeah, because of the little loop there is. In that case, I would go to Frankfurt, cut off one of his other ways.
I don't know if I agree. The forewarned makes me think maybe Godalming doesn't have any weapons. Because I think
Hmm.
forewarned is really powerful. I don't know if I'd want to use it if I could reveal, like, if I could reveal a weapon and take 2 damage on one person.
I'm
I'm way
with
too
you there.
worried about.
Yeah.
I'm getting a pretty similar vibe.
Yes. I mean, but does DonOJack know that?
Yeah, I mean, it does save information. It's going to make this fight scarier for Dracula because he has no idea what Godalming has. Although I think maybe you would kind of read into it, probably not weapons. Um,
Okay, he hasn't been to Berlin yet.
yeah, let's see how the fight goes. I think the fight will show whether that play was good or not. 'Cause if the fight goes well because of the forewarned, then I think we'll be in the commentary booth being like, you know what, that was a good use of it. If it doesn't go so well, maybe the other way. We'll have to see.
Yeah.
Hmm.
By the way, something interesting. There are
It's
actually 3
interesting for
stakes
sure.
in discard.
Ooh, 3 stakes?
Yes.
Yeah, the first vampire
So,
has already kind of been let go, right? Maybe you don't need the stakes
well, yeah,
immediately.
except that, except that he stopped supplying the moment that, what the,
Oh, that's
huh?
rough.
Okay, traveling up to go by North Sea, I get it. But,
Well, it
at
feels
the same,
awkward to move down to London to move back to Manchester.
Yeah, where was his
yeah,
ticket? Oh, he must have a white one. He must have
Maybe
two white
both, maybe two
ones.
white ones. Yeah, that's
either
rough.
that or, I experienced this
Yellow
personally.
one slash
Yeah,
white one.
yeah, the 1-1. I had a situation where, uh, when I faced JB Philly in the Fall League, I during the Hunter matchup, I had to let the first thing mature because then Helsing was stuck with both double ones. And he ended up just not leaving England at all that match, which, well,
You know,
eh,
the one good thing about this, like, from my perspective, at least they're getting a 2v1. At least it's
yeah,
Monday of week 2 at least. So it's early, a early fight, but it's not quite week 1. So Dracula have to wait until round 3 to escape.
planned
Oh yeah,
ambush.
this is what you call a compromise.
Mhm.
Neither side is happy.
Okay.
Like all good compromises.
Oh, interesting. So Gul'dan has 2 combat items, while Mina has 3.
Ooh,
Ooh.
they're loaded.
Yeah, and Gul'dan is the one with the planned ambush. Uh, this could definitely be very painful for Drac.
I did kind of wonder if Mina had Holy Wolves because we had the right for reveal in her, but this says no, she does not 'cause she has 3 combat items.
Let's see.
Time to battle.
Yeah.
What do you do here
5.
as Dracula? Do you mesmerize Mina? Do you like strength Godalming? Probably not strength Godalming because he might have a heavenly host, but.
Do you fang Mina in case she throws Heavenly Host?
Yeah, killing Mina here would be
Nobody,
a coup.
nobody ever seems to want to do that.
Well, I'm not sure. I.
It's rough. Depends on what their hand is as well, probably.
It also depends on what Drac has in his hand. At
Yeah,
least,
yeah. That's what I'm looking at.
5 hit is like it. 5 hit and I are alike in the sense that we have something of a knack for getting inside our opponent's head and just planning it a turn in advance, just like really planning ahead when it comes to combat. So therefore, it'll definitely depend on just how much he has and all that.
Definitely, it'll set the tone, right? If he has a bad combat hand, it's gonna go really badly for him. If his combat hand is like both the strengths, he's got a mesmerize, he's got a fangs. Like if he has a good combat hand, this could go very poorly for him.
Do you
We'll have to see.
Do you play for the escape? Do you try
I
to strength a weapon and then escape?
I would do. I depending on what I had, would try for something like that.
In this scenario, I
Okay.
think if I was gonna do that, I'd try to do it on
Oh.
Godalming, because he might not have weapons.
Ooh.
Oh,
Okay.
oh.
Maybe not a great combat hand, because if that was a mesmerize instead of a plotting, it would have been the same
Yeah.
effect. Right? It's not the worst ever. Ooh. Oh wait, he had planned ambush. That's
Well,
fine.
yeah.
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 It was like,
Good on you, DonOJack, for this time. Remembering the lesson I taught you and making sure not to show one of your actual things first.
okay, it's a
just
heavenly host.
dunking a heavenly host on
That's
him.
5 damage, ladies and gentlemen.
It's a third of the way there.
But
I
It's a
really
third
feel
of the
like
way
he'll be able
there,
to escape on Godalming.
and
I
we're
don't
a
know
third of the way
against-
done with the game, as far as the timer goes.
It's true.
Perfect
Yeah,
timing
the
for
third-
that.
I really think that as Dracula, I think you probably can escape on Godalming, because I don't know if he has a weapon to block it. Based on the forewarned thing again.
I know it's possible. There's still 8 items in the deck.
Unless that was his
But-
whole plan, was to forewarn the wolves so as to not reveal rifle knife.
Yeah. That's why I said that I partially agreed with it. Especially since
If it baits Dracula into an escapist bat here against Godalming, that would be brilliant.
If it works out really well in this combat, it will look really good.
As
And I
you
think
said
so
before,
far,
yeah.
it's working okay. And we'll see. I think we'll see what Dracula does now. If he tries to play into the escape into Godalming and then gets caught, it's going to be like, that was the best forward card we've ever seen. It's got in his head.
Well, he can't escape this round.
Yeah, for sure. So he's still fighting it out. Probably you want to play a strength, I imagine. Unless you think they're going to try to run away so we can't escape next turn.
Yeah, what I would do is do a mesmerize.
Mesmerize on me
Yeah.
looks pretty good.
Yeah.
That's what I
she-
was thinking, because she just punched.
Whoa,
But then you've got that to
ouch.
deal with.
This could be a quick game. That is not what you want to see.
If you're Mina,
Yeah.
just play around the mesmerize. Yeah, that's well played.
And he did have an escape his back card, but he just used it. So now Dracula could
Oh.
escape.
Yeah, now Drac can guaranteed escape off Godalming. And
Probably
well,
does
he'll
it,
need
right?
it. Yeah, at this point, it's definitely time to cut your losses as Drac.
If he has the card, at least.
Well,
Which
one
hope
of
he does.
2.
Yeah, you hope he has the escape his back, or at least escape his missed by now.
Well, one of 2 different cards. I'm pretty sure that he'll have it at this point.
He's gone 7 cards deep in the combat deck. I mean, it's possible he hasn't gotten it, but not likely.
Not all that probable.
There's 13 cards in there, so, or is it 15? I think it's 13.
So yeah, this has gone very well for the hunters. They've already dealt
True.
11 damage.
It's a lot of
And
damage. They haven't really taken anything in return. They're both unscathed.
Yeah, the only downside is that they've had to they've had to discard those company hosts.
I think it is a 13 card combat deck.
Yeah,
Well, it
there-
would make sense. Even Dracula's, number 13. Okay.
Yep, there it
Yeah.
is.
Nice.
Escape his bat.
Should have held on to that rifle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He should have. What Godalming should have punched that round. So slight error, but considering 11 damage in such a short time, really can't complain.
Yeah, I mean, Dracula got away, but at least he also got shot with a rifle first before he got away, right? Could have been worse.
Yeah, I would go to Munich and then Wolf immediately.
I mean, I think the saving grace for Dracula here is definitely that he's getting his move 2. He still has his wolf form. He also has 7 points. So even though he's not the most healthy, right? If he can like mature another vampire somewhere, or he can make some good distance now, maybe feed, play some desecrated soils, because they're not gonna be able to get rid of the desecrated soils for a while probably because, as you said,
Yeah.
Captain, they've discarded 2 heavenly hosts. Um, Certainly not
Yeah, they
over by
use
any
them
means.
against him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yes, use effective use by no yeah. That was definitely the right call to use them, but for now because
yeah.
they've been used, they're gone for a while. Well, the deck is close to reshuffling.
Yeah, so I would definitely go to Munich with the bat and then do a wolf.
It is a bit congested Leipzig. It's not terrible, but
I
it's not
mean,
incredible either.
do you go back to Castle Dracula?
I
Mm.
was actually thinking that.
I think that's the problem is
Definitely a good question.
everyone thinks that when they see Dracula that low. I
Chat's
think
talking about it. Yeah, that's part of the great game design, in my opinion, is that like once Dracula's wounded, he's sort of incentivized to flee to his home, like in the book. You know? But he might not do it.
hmm it might be too telegraphed in this instance. And then if he gets to his castle, can he really get out once he's there? If because it's gonna take him a while to get there.
Yeah. Or is that just GG at that point?
Because you lose all obfuscation, right? Like, let's say I don't know, you bat to like 38 or 44, probably 44 for the obfuscation, and then you will form to 11. 2 more moves, you're at Castle Drac. They've had 4 moves to like fan out and or supply. Can you then get out of Castle Dracula? Maybe
Well,
not.
one thing that is good news for Dracula is that you recall how Mia had 3 combat items? That means that she does not have any horse.
True.
And
Yes.
Seward's behavior makes it quite evident that he does not either.
Well, you might rail even if he did have a horse, right? Just because the rails are so
Well,
good.
yes, but I'm referring to before that when he walked to
When he
Santander and
walked to
then
47.
yeah. Would you not instead simply horse to 8?
Yeah, depending on, well, I think he wanted to check 47 specifically, right? Because if you check 8 and he went to 8, that doesn't tell you whether he went straight into Spain or whether he like did a big like L going towards Italy. I liked checking 47 over checking 8, although he might have moved to 47 just because his tickets weren't quite there yet and he didn't want to risk a horse. Because losing a horse there would not have been good at all.
Yeah. Well, in any event, and yeah, they've just spent 2 tickets, presumably weakening their horse economy. So that's the good news for Drac.
And Van Helsing is still in England. I mean, he's like 3 moves away from getting to the mainland, so there is some silver lining here.
Yeah, the hunters and nobility is not yet it's fully ready. That much is obvious.
Yeah, they didn't expend all that much.
Very true.
A chartered carriage, a long night, a couple of heavenly hosts.
A 4-1, I think, and the charter carriage are 2 biggest losses, but I think for 11 damage, you'd happy trade those 2 cards.
Yeah.
Yeah, and considering that it was a rifle and not a knife, I think that I mean, when is that a particularly bad thing to do? Admittedly, he could have fetched a ticket, but since he went with the analysis function, I mean, there's no particular reason not to. At least let Drac know that they're there.
Could have hit, I guess. The reason not to would be because you want to save it for when Dracula actually does hide later.
I mean, I suppose there's a possibility he hid in like 27 to protect a vampire or something and then moved into 30.
Okay, yeah, I got out of Germany. Oh, with the bat location, so he didn't go to Munich.
That's actually a good scan.
That's significant.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, so there's still Brussels, Strasbourg, Zurich.
I feel like it's got to be Zurich, or Strasbourg. I think those are the most likely spots that I'd want to check.
Yeah. Maybe 44, but that seems crazy.
I think if it's 44, you have plenty of time to catch up to him anyway.
Yeah.
Although he can't go to sea anymore, which means that maybe like going into Spain is not so appealing.
Yeah, because
Given-
when you go into Spain, you're almost guaranteed to have to go into
Yeah,
go to
I mean-
sea eventually.
And maybe he can feed him, maybe he can get some desecrated soils, but I don't know if you want to be relying on 100% the desecrated soils will mature, because he could have the third heavenly host on someone.
Yes, but at the same time, there are still 8 items
True.
yet to be drawn.
Yeah. Maybe those heavenly hosts aren't as close to coming back as it looks, because they're probably not going to be supplying very much. I mean, maybe they will be supplying. But
Well, I would, considering that both me and what
Oh
the
my goodness.
what are
he's
you
moving
doing?
into Seward.
What are you doing?
Well,
Okay.
misclick or
Something's a
something.
bit-
It's a bit odd. It gives you confirmation on moving. Feels like it'd be hard to make that mistake.
Possibly, I thought Seward was in Leipzig with them.
Ooh, that's true. Maybe looking on the board thought that
Yep,
they were.
that's apparently that's apparently what.
Exactly
That's
what he
apparently.
thought.
That's rough. I think that's gonna cost him the game there probably. I don't know if Zane coming back from
Yeah.
that at 4 HP.
Yeah, he should have known that because Seward didn't participate in the fight, and the fight
Mhm.
happened
Yeah.
in Leipzig.
Well, mistakes happen.
Yeah,
we gotta
of course,
we gotta
of
live with it.
course.
Unfortunately, I think that this is something they'll certainly be kicking themselves about after the game. But as they
Yeah,
say, the show must go on,
it's unfortunate, but
even if it's gonna be a curtain call soon. I think.
always remember you can zoom in extra close and double check.
Enhance.
Yeah, that was.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Well, at
that's
least
gonna
he
be
got 7
game,
points.
most
There was
certainly.
some IDS there at least. I
Yeah.
think if you lose at 0, it'd be especially. I mean, it's not great, but he's gonna get something.
Yeah.
It might
it's
even
not-
be a good thing because now he can't draw a vampire lair and reduce your IDS before he kills you.
Definitely, yes. It's good.
Like, look at
Yeah.
the bright side.
You're guaranteed. Maybe he won't kill him now to play the vampire
Here's-
lair.
But here's a very interesting. Here's something very interesting. Depending on what's the thing is that Gul'daman has only a rifle, and Mina has one of her 2 remaining things is a garlic, a reactive thing.
Right.
How? I mean, that's probably still enough, but if he were to get in some fangs in this combat and heal up a bit.
You definitely don't give up. I think that's the attitude that what's his name? 5 Hit should be having right now. If he can heal, right? The game isn't over until it's over. You should always play, even if you feel like you've lost. You should play to the best of your ability because there's a chance that you haven't, right? Everybody makes mistakes. There's a chance the hunter player may make some, especially like you said, if he can get. I think with 4 health, it's pretty slim margins. But if he can get like 6, if he can get 2 or 4 health from this fight, then it'd be really good for him.
Apparently, he's trying for fangs because he says, "As I hope you
Ooh.
play."
Oh.
Ow!
Yeah, I agree, Pizza Wizard. You never know. You absolutely never know.
I mean, Quincy actually has this on his thing where back in the regionals, our first attempt at a game, I was down to 7, and they found me 2v1, and yet I ended up just killing both hunters in question
Mm-hmm.
in the
Yeah.
combat. Remarkable
It's
things can happen.
It's only as over as you yourself have it, as you yourself make it, right? If you throw in the towel's getting thrown in. But if you say maybe the bell isn't rung yet, you can. I think you still got a chance. Although now that you're at 1 health, I think it's very, very, very narrow margins for error, if they exist at all. It's very tough.
Yeah, I mean, if Seward escapes without Dracula getting some health before this is over, all they have to do is just step on him and then throw a triple punch, and it's over.
He did get a plotting off, so he can stop and escape.
Yeah, true.
Although John Stewart has 3 combat items, so maybe, yeah, it's looking dicey.
Yeah. Maybe throw a strength.
Yeah, that's what I would do. Or I'd definitely be tempted to do fangs. And
The
yet,
big question is, what
Yeah,
are
he
his
did
other
just
items,
play.
right?
He did just play his knife, and
yeah, he
you
does
could
play a
s- you
knife,
could
but
self-dodge with
keep
plotting.
in mind that that's the only knife that's shown itself so far.
Could easily have a second knife.
Precisely. And
We're
he's
going
going
for
for
it.
it.
Ooh.
And nope, it
Oh,
was
he's
a
got
double
the
knife.
second knife.
Lights out. Well, no
That's it.
vampire lair, like Captain said. We're keep sticking our 7 points.
So that ended up being quick as a result.
Yeah, it's rough.
Still an exciting game.
Yeah, that was definitely.
Oh, Fangs for the guy. He even made it fun. Look at him. That's the spirit.
Good man.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder, since that one was so rapid, if they would want to just play their second one too.
They might need a mental reset. I don't know if you want to make a huge mistake and then immediately play another
Yeah,
game.
jump right back into it. I agree. It's tough.
The reason we got timeouts in sports games, we need to like get the mental back. Ugh.
Yeah, not the most exciting ending, but it was exciting when the hunters caught him in Leipzig and fought him
It
like
was
Yeah.
very interesting play there, especially
Yeah.
with forewarned. Definitely
Yeah.
a lot to chew on.
For sure. Stuff to think about.
And it
Yeah.
worked out for him. Maybe that was a really good forewarned play. It worked out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he also played his rifle at the wrong round,
A little bit
but
early. That's true.
yeah.
Yeah, honestly, I think that had he done that part properly, then he would have been able to finish him off just there and then.
But you never know,
20s.
because it's possible Dracula would have played strength instead because he hadn't seen the rifle be played yet. You know, sometimes they do that. They fake like they're gonna escape so they can try to rifle strength your weapon, and then they escape, right? And that's why what you do is you throw the crucifix in that round. And,
Oh, yeah,
and then you
the
you catch him mesmerizing. I had a great game versus Randiv where he would have won, except that I had strength, and then I used the strength and got his crucifix. And then the round after that, I mesmerized his rifle. And then the round after that, I escaped as a bat. You follow? So it was like this 50-50, where if I had to play either strength or mesmerize, and if I had played the mesmerize, I would have died on the spot. Yeah, it's useful like that. It's useful to work the crucifix into the mix at an awkward time like that.
Difficult to manage, but it can be done.
Yeah.
I have been really surprised by how effective like a surprise crucifix can be. I myself am a crucifix hater. I don't play crucifix very much at all because I want weapons that will deal damage 100% of the time. But I have been gotten good by the crucifix. It is
In a one-on-one
surprise factor.
In a one-on-one, it's so good.
Mm-hmm.
You're just not really looking for a one-on-one.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was good stuff.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching, everybody. I think we're gonna call it a night there. Alright, boys, I'm gonna sign off. Thanks for joining me, Pizza Wizard. Thanks for joining me, Fangs of Fire. As
Happy to be
always.
Pleasure.